Good Sunday afternoon, and God, I do thank you for the opportunity just to say, God, I thank you. I didn't have the motivation earlier to do a live as I normally would early in the morning, and everything happens for a reason. And I'm saying that because I happened to look at the news at about the 6 o'clock news this afternoon, and I got some information that has me somewhat frustrated, but still hopeful. And the frustration comes from we today ended early voting here in Duval County in the First Coast. And looking at the news, and they were doing a calculation of who early voted in the primaries. In the 4 major counties that are in the First Coast area here in North Florida, we're under 15% that has already gone out and voted. Now, I am frustrated, but I am hopeful. I'm hopeful because come Tuesday, which will be primary day, you're going to be given yet another opportunity. Now, the difference with Tuesday compared to early voting, you have to actually go and vote to your assigned precinct. So please remember that you have to vote at your assigned precinct if you are choosing to go, and I'm hoping that you will, come Tuesday. This is important. What are you voting for? I'm going to answer that question by sharing a story that I dealt with on yesterday. I was speaking to a young lady, and she asked a question about, are we voting for the president? I said, no, we're not voting for the president. She said, good, because I need to make sure I'm going to vote when it comes time for the president. And I responded, as I'm getting ready to share with you, it's not the fact that you're voting for the president, because he's not on the ballot in the midterms. What you're voting for is to put the guardrails back in place, which they are, but hoping that if the right party, and I say the right party based on we have a party that's in control of all 3 branches of the government, and it's supposed to be 3 co-equally branches of the government. And technically that's not the case right now, because the executive branch, which is where the president sits, is kind of running everything through Congress as well as the Senate. So the hopes are, my thinking, and I think I'm in line with so many people when I say this, that the midterms will allow the Senate and the House, they will take their power back and put the guardrails in place so that the executive branch is not in a place that he can just do what he wants to do when the Constitution does not allow it. So, with that being said, what you're voting for on Tuesday, you're going to be voting for your representations based on the different seats that are up and available for the Senate and the House. Now, in November, it's going to be the election for some governor races, and we have that here in the state of Florida, Senate races. You're going to be making a decision based on what the midterms have played out to be based on the representation. So if you don't go vote on Tuesday, if you have not voted in the early voting for the primaries, you're going to be voting based on what others chose for you to vote. Let's talk about the voting part. If you're falling into a category of voting is a waste of time, it doesn't do anything, let's take that argument. I'd like to say that what we saw in 2024 and what we're dealing with right now, and I'm going to start here, SNAP benefits, healthcare, funding for after school programs, all those different things. You're seeing the changes of what not voting has done. I'm giving you my opinion. So if you can attempt to understand what I just said, this should assist you in understanding the importance of figuring out a way to go and cast a vote. Truly giving you something to think about, but also going to a place of understanding that we can figure out a way to do things that, truthfully, if you really look at the big overall picture, it's not really that important. But things that are truly important that will affect you, but if you can't see that it affects you, it's going to affect others, our kids, and they can't vote. So consider that, and I'm hoping you will think about what needs to be done, and you will make it happen. We still got an opportunity on Tuesday. Go vote. But November, we've got to make it happen. Be blessed on this Sunday. Give thanks on this Sunday. And thank you for just listening.